Hi, my name's Denny and I'm part of the sales group. As a sales group member, we delegated different tasks for each individual and we wanted to specialize in the tasks that we thought we'd be most effective in. I chose to specialize in the registration booth. It was my job to find the most efficient way for attendees to register once they got to the event. My strategy was to organize each attendee's card in alphabetical order. And once the attendee reached the event, and if they came to the registration booth, they would state their name and their affiliation, and we would find their registration card. We would then place the card into a clear plastic badge holder. The badge holder would be attached to a lanyard, and this is what the attendees would wear throughout the conference. At the start of the project, my goal was to find a sponsor for the lanyards and the clear badges. In the past, I've had a lot of success reaching out to sponsors and having them donate to my causes. Unfortunately, after contacting over 10 companies, all 10 companies rejected my sponsorship offer. I thought that I was going to be successful, but I determined a reason why I believe that I was not successful. In the past, my events have been like helping charities, wounded veterans, children with diseases, the homeless, and events in that category. And I think when the companies evaluated where their donations were going to be distributed to, when it came to a college and then the communication department, I think that they determined that this wasn't worthy of their donations and that they would rather donate to a cause that would help more people at the same time. On a positive note, I was able to find a business that was willing to donate some of their resources and times. The Chamberlain Realty executives, they have a large machine and marketing department where they print out all their real estate supplies. They offered to print between 5,000 and 3,000 color copies for our guidebook. I worked together with the other members in the guidebook and we triangulated a plan where we would contact Chamberlain executives, we would send them our images, we would arrive at their business, and we'd be able to complete the process and to make the guidebooks. The guidebooks originally were going to be made virtually, and this is because the guidebook group didn't have a sponsor and printing was very expensive. Now that we secured sponsor for printing, I believe that will enhance our credibility and that the attendees of the conference will be appreciative that they have a handheld guidebook and that it's not something they have to look up on their smartphone or computer. The 10 businesses that I contacted were a variety of energy drinks, healthy waters, and school supplies. For example, Red Bull, Starbucks, Office Max, Staples, and Zico coconut water. I chose these businesses because I thought they complemented the conference in one way or another. After reporting my troubles to the group, we decided that we should move on from finding a sponsor for the lanyards and the badges, and the other groups found a nice price on lanyards and badges, and we spent our time trying to find companies to donate to our silent auction or our baskets. And I think that that was a great move for us to make because we decided that we should spend our time in a more productive way. When I met the owner and the marketing manager at Chamberlain Executives, I came at a very unique time. They were frantically working on a menu and business cards, and this was for a board meeting that they had the following day. I have skills in Photoshop and I offered to help them, and this was in good faith to show that I appreciated their support. I ended up spending a couple hours that afternoon, a few hours later that night, and a couple hours in the morning. I felt like it was a great opportunity for me to show how appreciative our university was of their help. And I'm proud to say that the menu that they chose was something that I worked on, and I think that that's very impressive. It's not my style to brag or to say without me the group wouldn't be successful, but since that's the question, that's what I'll answer. I believe that without my presence, the group and the class would not be able to print an actual guidebook. Being able to have about 3,000 to 5,000 copies is very generous, and I'm excited that I was able to find that business and to secure that offer. Additionally, I created a template, and what the template had was a blank space at the beginning where you can insert the company's name. And at the end, there's space to write a personal note. And this gave us the way of sending multiple emails to different companies and saved us time while making the forms and the emails look personable to every company. And this was a technique that I used. Another technique that I used was something that I learned in the past, and that's when and where to send emails. I learned that the best time of the day to send an email is after lunch, and the best day of the week would be Tuesdays. That's because on Mondays the people are overwhelmed, and on Tuesdays they're finally getting caught up. Once they're getting caught up, they go to lunch, and then when you send the email to them when they're at lunch, they'll arrive to their computer and your email will be at the top of the list. I found that by doing this, I had much greater odds of the response from the company. It was almost like every time I sent an email on a Tuesday at lunch, I would receive a response back. I've accounted for about 20 hours that I've physically put into this class, and then there's hours that are mentally that I wasn't able to find a tangible amount for. And my hours go to making the template, responding to the companies, volunteering at the Chamberlain office to help them with their menu, to go through all of the emails that we sent, and also just to meet with our group, correspond through emails, have multiple meetings, and spending time making sure everybody's on the same page. And that's why I think our group was so successful, because we were very connected and we felt that everybody was all for one in the right cause, and that even though that we had our individual tasks, we could come together and give advice or help to those members that needed more help. And our group was very proactive, and without people asking for help, the other group mates would volunteer and would also just help them as much as they could. Myself, personally, I donated a 1.5 hour stand-up paddle lesson for 2. The lesson will include equipment and a professional instructor. I will teach the lesson myself. I have a business that is involved in the action sports world, and I figured that my talents could be used to raise funds for the communication department. The primary goal that I had at the beginning of this project was to find a sponsor for the clear badges and the lanyards, and I was not successful in executing this task. Because of my troubles, we determined that it would be best that our time would be spent elsewhere, and that we would actually find a manufacturer and purchase the lanyards and the clear badges ourselves. Wrapping up the semester in the internship, and when it comes down to grades, I believe that I deserve an A. An A is for excellence, and I put in excellent amount of time, thought, and work. Although personally, I don't really worry about grades, just because I feel like what you learn is more important than the letter grade that goes onto your report card. But also, it's gratifying when you receive a positive grade for the work that you've put into it, and that you've been recognized for your hard work. I put in hours that have been spent contacting, responding, acquiring sponsorships, visiting, traveling, driving, and just hours meeting and planning. All these hours were spent well, time was not wasted, and for those reasons, I believe that I deserve an A for this class. I had a great semester working on this project, and I'm going to be a part of the class next semester too. I can't wait to see the event executed and how our hard work has paid off. It'll be very exciting, and I am looking forward to the Western Communication Conference.